Ladies, gentlemen, Daniel. My name is Jordan Lewis. I'll be your own personal homie today. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the ReEvolve Media Revolution podcast, featuring Raygee. Now, loyalty isn't everything. You can actually get people on your side much easier by controlling and manipulating them. You know, a couple of lies, maybe an inaccurate flex here and there.
Smile for the camera. Ooh, girl, you paparazzi and model. Get it.
In fact, you don't even have to communicate with them. Maybe when it's convenient for you or when you need something, but otherwise, you're on social media. They know you see their content. You don't need to talk about it or promote it. Hell, you don't even have to pay your sweet, juicy attention. And yes, I know that's what you call your rump, your hiney, but I'm talking about your focus. You're focused on you. Any time spent focusing on friends or family, now that's a waste. You don't waste your time. You can't binge Netflix or video games on wasted time, or hypothetically contemplate your next moves. No action, no action. It's not the right time yet. You'll know when you're ready. You're the hardest worker you know, and it's going to stay that way because you're not going to get to know anyone. All right, I'm going to cut the sarcasm right here. I know it's a little abrupt, but this was supposed to be a joke, but I'm actually starting to feel kind of just like a type of way running mentally through the list of people that this applies to in my life. Percentage-wise, maybe it's like 99.9. I've been public about being a creator for about 7 years now, and I've been a decent human being for at least 9 or 10 previously, yet no one ever actually reaches out to me. And I'm not innocent either. It's only as of late that I've been making an effort to communicate with people extensively, and the reactions have been interesting. I'm finding that the people I used to call best friends are not responding or never reciprocating, initiating the communication, and people I hardly knew or knew for only a brief period of time have surprised me by not only continuing conversations, but have recommended me books which I bought, or reminisced on shared memories, like absolutely legendary ones that I completely forgot about. And we've even planned to meet in the future for some of them. Like I said, I'm not innocent on kind of the lacking of beforehand, but I really wish I made an effort over the last few years. I'm not going to waste this realization that I've had, which is the opportunity to love boundlessly, moving forward. Through this interview with Raygee, I've been able to realize what it means to be an effective member of society. He's an amazing example of why and how you should have started yesterday. It's not too late. Reach out. Welcome everybody. I'm here with Raymond. He goes by Raygee. He's based out of Toronto. How you doing, Raygee?
Pretty good, man. How's you?
Yeah, I'm doing great, brother. I'm doing great. So, were you born and raised out of Toronto?
Not my history's a little bit back and forth. I was born in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm pure Filipino, or as pure as a Filipino can get.
Yeah, I feel you.
And then born in Hong Kong, less than a year old, moved back to Philippines, and then at 6 years old, we immigrated to Canada, and I've been living here ever since.
Wow. How long did your parents live in Hong Kong for?
I think they were there for maybe 2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years, okay.
Yeah, it's long enough for my mom to learn Cantonese. That's all I know.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so then you went back to the Philippines, and then
Yeah, so Philippines, I guess you could say age of 1, and then at the age of 6, we moved again to Canada, and I've been living here ever since Toronto. So ever since I moved here, I've been a Toronto boy.
That's wild, man. So Toronto is home for all intents and purposes, right?
Exactly.
Do you go back to the Philippines very often, or had you before COVID and everything?
Yeah, actually, I was just there right when COVID hit.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we were doing we were headlining a show there with the rest of my group, Southeast Cartel.
Man, that's awesome. I want to talk about Southeast Cartel a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
Want to elaborate on that? What are they to you?
So Southeast Cartel is like I would say it's like a super group, similar to Wu-Tang Clan, so to speak.
All right.
But we're all a bunch of Filipino Canadians from the general Toronto area, so that's the GTA. So in case I forget and I start using like short forms, GTA is just the general Toronto area.
I thought it was
Toronto.
Greater Toronto area.
Yeah, sorry, Greater Toronto area. Yeah, GTA.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha. Yeah. I feel you. No, you're used to using the acronyms. That's cool.
All right. So we're all over the GTA. All of us, I would say, grew up or was raised in Philippines, moved here at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
And just been making music. So most of our songs there's a lot of Tagalog in there. and English.
Yeah, I seen that,
So,
man.
so it's a mix, yeah. So we've been at it for about 10 years now. So we're
Damn.
about
And
to
so
celebrate our
with
10
them,
years.
did you start as an audio engineer and then you've kind of slowly started into the rap game?
No, actually, I started off just as a aspiring rapper. So
Okay.
in high school, I think when I was grade 10, yeah, grade 10, grade 11 in high school here, the internet came up, and the age of, it's not even SoundCloud rappers. We were the SoundClick rappers. I don't know if you've heard of
Sound
SoundClick.
click.
Yeah,
It's vaguely memorable to
yeah.
me, but go on.
So SoundClick was like the first online music sharing platform, way
All
before
right.
SoundCloud and MySpace and all that.
Yeah.
And there's where a lot of the Filipinos from not just Canada but all over the world would come and upload songs and share music. And that's where I first started putting out songs with my first group called Sundalos. So that was me and my high school friends.
That's wild, man. So
Yeah.
roughly how many years ago was
And
that?
it's like I'm 30 now, so let's say half of my life I've been making music.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
dude, that's incredible. And my question is there still kind of that same ish community? I don't know if you guys built a community back then in the
Mm.
SoundClick days, but is there still kind of a same, like, are there still some people involved back then or that today that were there back then?
I would say not so much anymore because
Okay.
at that point it was mostly people in high school making music, right? We are just sharing, and then
I see. It wasn't really like community. It was more of just getting it out there.
yeah, it's more of like an online community. So we don't really physically hang out or see each other because
Okay.
we'd be all the way from Toronto, and our label mates or group mates all the way in like Calgary
Yeah,
or
and even
Winnipeg.
and back then communication was pretty limited. So
Yes, and so at that point it was mainly online, and as people grew older, they got full-time jobs and different careers, and a lot of them let go of music. But there's a few like Southeast Cartel. Majority of us were actually part of that SoundClick era. We were
no
like the
way.
last generation, yeah. So we're like the last people that actually was on SoundClick heavy. And then a couple of years later, most of the community died down, and we still kept going. So we're basically from the old generation, but we're
That's
making down music
wild,
now.
man.
Yeah.
So you guys have some of you have 15 years of rapport.
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy, man. And you guys have a crazy amount of content on YouTube. If I had my work cut out to me for me if I sifted through it, like I
Oh,
think
word.
there's live performances from up to like 8 years ago.
Yeah, man. What's it called? About 8 to 9 years ago, we kind of realized the value of putting out content online. Because before that, we have an underground community in Toronto, so we would do shows. We'd perform here. There'd be battles, freestyles, ciphers. So we do all of that, but we realized that internet is really where a lot of the music is headed and where a lot of people are on. So since about eight years ago, we started putting out more stuff.
That's wild, man. And my question for Southeast Cartel actually is there kind of like a hierarchy involved? Is there like a leader or a boss at the top? And
So initially, even when I wouldn't say we started Southeast because Southeast Cartel was already formed by one of the guys in the group. His name is Franchise, right? So
yeah.
Southeast Cartel was running for about 2 years before I entered it. And the past 2 years, it was three other members that were in Southeast Cartel. One of them, his name was Dagamuffin. He passed away already. And
Sorry to hear.
and the second guy, he what's his name again? Lyrical Abstract. He kind of put down his pen, and he I think he became a doctor or something. He was doing some kind of really extensive
Okay.
education, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so he
It's
couldn't really mess with music after that.
that's a
Um,
big change of pace, but all right, yeah, no, totally fair. I understand.
And then I would say we're like the second generation of Southeast Cartel because Franchise was the only one left, and I think he was about to stop it, but he met us during some events that were popping off here,
Yeah.
and me and him hit it off because just when you're passionate about something and you find somebody just as passionate,
Yeah.
so that's what happened, and he was at that point just straight up lyricist rapper, but he didn't really have like a studio to go to. And by that time, I already graduated from an audio school here, and I was already
Oh,
doing my
nice,
thing.
man.
Yeah, so when I think we brought him in for one song that we collaborated with, and the chemistry was just really good. That by the end of that song, he asked us if we wanted to join Southeast Cartel.
That's
So that's how it started,
crazy.
man.
So is it kind of you guys operate more as a collective now?
Yeah, the thing was even before Southeast Cartel, me and my other group mate named Vision, we were already part of like three other groups or three other small productions,
Yeah.
and they always had a leader. And the thing with having a leader is the group is only as good as the leader, right?
That's the truth. I feel
Yeah.
you.
So if the leader isn't, and most of the time the leader is just the person that brought everybody together, but it
That
doesn't
started it,
necessarily
yeah.
mean that they're the best they're the best position to be a leader, right?
Yeah, that's brilliant, man. I love that.
So, and the reason we left, me and Vision left all those groups is because they just weren't going anywhere, or they just didn't have good leadership, in our opinion. So we ended up leaving, and when we joined Southeast Cartel, when I talked to franchise, we all agreed that there's not going to be one specific person calling the shots, but instead it's going to be we're all going to be voting, and everybody has equal say in the group.
That's brilliant, man. I love that. And so how long have you guys been operating on that motive?
Oh, since we started, since
Since you started.
we follow, I met with Chais, and we started collecting more people.
That's crazy, man. So in that regard, with your Southeast Cartel, would you say that you have a North American fan base and a Filipino fan base that are separate, and then also like a bilingual fan base that might know your and your guys' music just kind of the most?
Yeah, yeah, I would say that that's spot on. We majority of our listeners are people who understand Tagalog, just because
Okay.
50% to 60% of our music is Tagalog, right? And then we mix it with
Yeah.
English.
Yeah. Yeah.
So most of the people that listen to us in Philippines, of course, and in Canada, I would say the majority are people who speak English and Tagalog. But we do have a couple of fans that are not Filipino, or they don't speak or understand Tagalog, but they like the English stuff, so they
That's
mess with us.
amazing, man.
Yeah.
And we're trying to ramp up those numbers on that end, because I can see with a lot of your solo stuff as of recent, you've been focusing more on the English aspect, but still implementing some Tagalog here and there, right?
Yeah, because to be honest, bro, like I don't speak Tagalog as fluently as the rest of my people.
I feel you. Okay.
Because I grew up here, and my parents spoke to us in English because they wanted us to get assimilated right away, you know.
Yeah.
And when I was in elementary school, there's not a lot of Filipinos in my school, so all I had were English speaking people. It was only till high school that there was more Tagalog speaking people, and I was
Yeah.
able to rediscover my language again, you know. So what I've been trying to do with my music is I still make music in English because I want to be able to incorporate a lot of people that are similar to me, but at the same time, kind of start introducing bit by bit some of the Tagalog language, just so that people can get used to it. And also, if you're a Filipino but you don't understand Tagalog, that's hopefully going to help you learn new words. And if you're not a Filipino, I'm starting to get you used to those words here and there, you know.
I definitely feel that last statement, man, because with your track "Hungry" and that bar you use with Gutom,
Yeah, yeah.
I obviously I had to look it up to be certain, but
Mm-hmm.
like I knew what you were going for, and I thought it was dope. I thought the implementation was kind of flawless. It was powerful, effortless, and I think you executed it without losing any audience, which is sometimes when people switch to another language, they lose the non-native speakers, right?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, thanks, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad it turned out like that.
Of course, dude. That's the vibe I was picking up. But to jump into your music, actually, so I only looked really into your solo career, which it seems
Mhm.
that you started really running strong within just last year, 2019.
Yeah, before I joined any groups back in the SoundClick days, I was a solo artist,
Yeah.
and that was probably like 17 years ago.
Is any of that stuff accessible?
Yeah, like personally, it's
All
it's
right, all
not
right, all
really,
right.
it's no longer out there, just because a lot of the stuff has been taken down, or I didn't keep a good online record of it.
Okay, fair.
But ever since joining up with Southeast Cartel, I'm in a group full of really talented, really creative people that throughout my whole, let's say, music career with the group, I've begun to evolve, I've begun to change, and my tastes and my ears changed. So this year, or wait, last year, sorry, I decided, you know what, like being part of a group, we tend to release music really, really slow because everybody's got to be happy with the recordings, with the mixes, right?
Yeah.
But in no means is that like a bad thing. It just takes a little more time to put out material. But creatively, like my mind and my inspiration is going on 24/7, right?
Yeah, for
So I
sure. I feel you.
and I thought, you know what? While I'm doing this with the group, I got a couple of song ideas. I got a couple of concepts I want to be able to create. So I was able to do the EP because I actually started with an EP, not an album, because I just wanted to see if I could put out something really quick. And even creating that music, it only took me about a month to kind of think up and write.
And did
But
you produce it as well?
for the production end, I didn't. I actually had. I just went online and YouTube and some producers I
Ah, I
know.
feel you. Okay,
Yeah, so I
okay.
just paid for the beat, took the license, and did what I could legally with it.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What's the title of that EP? I don't want to butcher it.
Yeah, no, it's called Young Dreams.
Young
Yeah,
Dreams?
yeah, but it's spelled. So there's a street here called Young Street, and
Yeah.
when I moved to Toronto, that's basically where we hung out and kind of did our thing. So it's kind of like a play on words. Young Dreams, as in like young, Young, and then young as in the street that I grew up around.
That's awesome, man. I love the reference in the title. I gotta say, man. So for these interviews, obviously, I'm trying to do as much research as I can as possible to not
Hmm.
come in empty-handed. And this is you're on the latter half of my interviews here,
Hmm.
and it obviously once you do something quite often, it starts to feel a little bit like work more
Hmm.
than it was the passion that you originally started with.
Hmm.
And this fucking EP, man, it reignited that passion, man. I don't know what it did, but it gave me shivers. It's a Yeah, no, I seriously, I fuck with it. Uh, it's like inspiring. I was working my ass off and just grinding through like just whatever I was doing, and I was listening to this EP, and it made me feel like I'm in the future, kind of amidst of all the success that I'm grinding towards.
Word, bro. That's exactly the concept or the energy I wanted to put in that EP. Because for doing this for 15 years, there's times where you're always gonna feel like you want to stop or give up, or you just don't want to do it anymore. So what I wanted to do was put out a piece of work that it's something that you can motivate yourself to. Like if you were to play this, I have some people like fans they tell me they play this in the morning when they get ready,
I
just so
can
that
see it, man.
they get
I
amped
can
up for
see
the
it.
day. So
And dude, I had that feeling from just the first track, Picasso.
oh yeah.
And then
Yeah.
then I got through the rest, and I was like, holy shit, it's actually the entire EP.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in energy, bro. And anytime I put out music, there's always a kind of energy that I want to either introduce to the listener or enhance. So I'm glad
Okay.
that you got that energy from that.
I feel it, man. And let's bring out some of the themes of that energy and the
Mhm.
vibes you were going for there. So I talked about Picasso. That's just kind of a oh man, it speaks for itself. It's a work of art. Even the music video that you did for it. I think this was one of your no, it was not your first music video. You did one with no phonies with oh no, not no
Oh no.
phonies.
No, that's my official music video, like as a solo artist.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
Picasso. Yeah,
But
it's just you jamming in an art studio, and then you've got a subtle and but like powerful story behind it that it comes together in the end. It's super cool, man.
thanks. Like that whole concept was like I just wanted to do something a little different because a lot of the music videos people were putting out in the community, they were relying a lot on special effects and a lot of
That's
different
true.
visual changes.
Yeah,
And you know what? It's pretty dope, but at the same time, I just wanted to do something different, right? So I could stand out amidst all the content. And one of the things that I started to appreciate was in movies they have a lot of planning of the background, right? So props, all of
yeah.
that stuff. And like to be honest, bro, I'm not much of a like a painter or sketch, one of those artists,
Yeah, no, I
right?
feel you. I feel you.
So luckily, I have my fiance who paints and stuff like that, and she knew exactly how to set
Ooh.
up the background and set all of that stuff up. And
Is she the
then
one in your storyboard credits there?
yeah, that's Nina Star.
Hey,
And I'm just
that's
blessed that I
beautiful.
have a lot of really good and creative people on my team because that whole music video was just my concept initially, but Nina was the one who put the storyboard together along with Vision, my other group mate, and they're the ones that made it look that dope, man. So I can't take any credit for that.
It's totally fair, man. I feel like no one really understands the true amount of effort that goes into creating a piece of art, especially when it comes to adding in other elements such as video.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, by the way, shout out to my stylist there too, Biggs. He's the one who styled me up for that music video.
Hey, and you're definitely looking styling. And one thing that I want to point out as well is in another music video that you were a part of, Trenches,
Mm.
with Restflow, Young John Q, Teach. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Is
Yeah,
it Teach or TJ? Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, uh,
TJ, either one works.
Directed by Vision as well. Did your girl play a role in that as well? Because I noticed it had the same kind of like storyboard flow.
Oh no, that one was initially we came up with a concept with the rest of the artists there, but it was Vision who kind of glued everything together.
Vision glued it together. Because the one thing I picked out is literally at the end of both of these videos, that like final scene that you put together. It's just like everything comes together as one. Like if you didn't get it, now you get it.
Yeah, you know the I guess what we were trying to create too, bro, is with music videos most of the time people don't realize that you need to tell a story, right? Like a
I
lot of times
agree.
they just depend on, like what's on there, like cars, flashing money, women, all this stuff,
A big field.
right? So yeah, or just
Yeah, I
having like
feel
a,
you.
a group of people backing them up while they're rapping. And it's like at some point in time, like people want to be able to see something different. And one of my mindset, I guess, is everything that we do content wise should always kind of explain something, have a message, or tell a story. And Restflow and those guys, they're on the same wavelength. So when we put that together, it was actually a lot of back and forth, just trying to figure out how to be able to tell the story. And Ian just did an amazing job putting it together, bro. Because we just kept
I
throwing him
agree,
ideas,
man.
man. So he was the one
Yeah.
who figured out how to make everything work visually.
Man, it was. I thought it was amazing. And so the people that you worked with entirely on that, are they all part of your Southeast cartel?
No, that's actually a couple of different groups, two other
Okay.
different groups here. So what's really cool in the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 years, bro, there's a lot more Filipinos that are coming out of the woodwork in our community.
Nice. Yeah, I do. I do.
And I think it's when we started, we put out one of our music videos called Pal, Pare Ayos Lang. I don't know if you've seen
Yeah.
that one. But when we put that out, it kind of shocked a lot of the Filipinos, not only in Philippines, but in Toronto, because at that point, audio-wise and video-wise, there was not a very high standard, right? Because we didn't
Yeah.
have any professionals. But
For sure.
on that song, like me and Vision, we grew up together since high school. And he never went and took what do you call it, like cinematography or videography. He
Yeah.
never took that.
Yeah.
But he was very passionate about it, whereas I was very passionate about the music end. So in our group, I was always doing the music stuff. He was always doing the videos. So after 5 or 6 years of mastering our craft, we were at a very high standard in terms
Yeah.
of the sound that was coming out of a community. So when we dropped Pare Ayos Lang, like the video was on point, the audio was on point, and even where we shot it, it was the same place that Drake shot Energy, that song of his.
No way.
Yeah, so we're able to use that place just to shoot that. And when we released it, like I said, people were shocked, or they didn't realize that Filipinos can put something out that were of a professional quality.
Yeah.
And ever since then, we've been performing with that song, trying to push it out here in Toronto, and a lot of people have been inspired. At least that's what they tell us. They've been inspired to come out and make music. So
That's beautiful, man. I love that. And so, how important is it for you to export your music and make it pop in the Philippines?
So as always, like when we're looking at it from a business point of view, you always got to look where your target market is, right?
For sure. For sure.
And the really cool thing about our music or our style of music is you can't say that it's strictly a Filipino sound.
I agree.
But it has a different feel to it, and the concepts we talk about are how we phrase words. Even in the way we speak Tagalog or rap Tagalog is different from back home, right? So
Yeah.
because we haven't been there for a long time, we start developing our own slang here too.
For
So
sure.
people in Philippines, when they hear us, they're very surprised because it's someone rapping in Tagalog or making music in Tagalog, but the
Yeah.
presentation is different. The mentality is different. So first and foremost, like Philippines, obviously you go where there's water, right? So that's the spot where we always, of course,
I feel you.
focus on. But at the same
Yeah.
time, we're not limiting ourselves to only focusing on like a specific area. With the internet and with being able to access different platforms and different people, we're still focusing on Filipinos, but Filipinos worldwide.
That's amazing, man. I love that. So we're gonna take that break that I told you we're talking about. We're just a little bit past the 20-minute mark. I'll cut us right here.
We're going to listen to one of Raygee's tracks titled Story of My Life.
Dreams don't work unless you do. Homie, that's something that I'm used to. Growing up, man, we never had much. Best believe I've been willing to go through you. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. There were days that I wish I died, but looking back now, what would mama say? If I did that, homie, what my daddy do? Will you mark my losses, young bro? Looking back now, there's too much to lose. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Homie, that's the story of my life now. As a kid growing up, I used to think I was never enough. I was too skinny, man, I was too nerdy, too poor and too ugly for someone to love. Mama and Papa, in some ways I failed you. Both of you had high hopes that I would be an engineer or a lawyer, but I took a different road. High school, I chilled with the riff-raps. When I heard Pac, that's when I dig rap. Had no weight to vet my feelings to Buster, and I meant he gave me a CD, a mixed crap. And I will forever have love for you, bro. You went and opened the way. I found a freedom in things that I wrote. It helped keep the pain at bay. That's when I figured my calling. Decided I'm all in. Decided this was what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and that I wasn't stopping. Shout out to Momo and Gino, Wapo, and the rest of the homies too. Cause even when people had told me to stop, they told me to keep on going. Guess they knew dreams don't work unless you do. Homie, that's something that I'm used to. Growing up, man, we never had much. Best believe I've been willing to go through you. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. There were days that I wish I died, but looking back now, what would mom say? If I did that, homie, what my daddy do? Will you mark might have lost his young bro? Looking back now, there's too much to lose. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Homie, that's the story of my life now. Put out a lot of songs, had a lot of hopes. Had to stay strong though, during times I was hella broke. And I still remember the first time we'd ever go headline a stage. That was insane. We spent my hours and hours to practice, but nobody came. My heart was devastated. I was close to being out of patience, out of plans, man, and out of angles. I could've stopped and put down the mantle, but I thought of my team. What are their hopes and their dreams? What about all these other Filipino kids looking for someone or something to believe? There's days when the grind is rough, or going down, or going up. On some days I feel like giving up, but on me they all place their trust. And sometimes the weight on my shoulder gets heavy, the stress be obstructing my view. My girl would tell me, don't worry, you got this, babe, I believe in you. I guess she knew dreams don't work unless you do. Homie, that's something that I'm used to. Growing up, man, we never had much. Best believe I've been willing to go through you. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. There were days that I wish I died, but looking back now, what would mom say? If I did that, homie, what my daddy do? Will you mark might have lost his young bro? Looking back now, there's too much to lose. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Homie, that's the story of my life now.
You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Unless you do, homie, that's something that I'm used to. Growing up, man, we never had much. Best believe I've been willing to go through you. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. There were days that I wish I died, but looking back now, what would mama say? If I did that, homie, what my daddy do? Will you mark might have lost his young bro? Looking back now, there's too much to lose. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Body though I ain't gon' lie. Homie, that's the story of my life now.
All right, everyone, and we're back with Raygee. Raygee, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm just chilling. I got my ice cap here. So I'm good.
Sounds great, man. Let's jump into the next track of yours. I was gonna bring up your tracks, or did we talk about Stay Blessed? No, we didn't. Stay Blessed. Sorry, we're talking about the themes in your EP Young Dreams that you released last year. Just for anybody tuning in just now, Stay Blessed, your track. It's kind of the theme of it is about staying loyal. Is that kind of more or less it? Because your flow is outrageous. You literally say that, and then you're kind of just like obviously flexing a little bit in it, and mentioning that you're falling, but you're not falling down, you're falling forward, and the track just kind of exemplifies that. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, bro. So, yeah, what you said, it kind of hits the spot. But my mindset when I was writing that song was more on being grateful for what you already have and being grateful for who you are. So when I came up with that whole song, it was more like if you wake up in the morning and you're getting ready and you're not feeling 100% or you're feeling down, for you to remember like, yo, you have your life to live. Just for you to wake up is already a blessing and be able to be 100% yourself. So you're right. I was flexing a little bit, but it's more to kind of say like I'm flexing myself because I'm happy with myself. I'm proud of being
Yeah,
myself. Yeah.
it's motivating. It's flexing for even the simplest things, right?
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of find that a lot of people nowadays, because of the social media and all of that, that we kind of tend to forget about all the small things we have,
Yeah,
or
because you
we
see all the
always want
big
more.
things that other people have.
Yeah, and at that point, I'd say past 2 3 years, I was in a point where I wasn't really happy or satisfied with what I had or where I am in life. So me coming to the realization of like everything I have is already good. And everything I have, I can't take for granted. And so that's what that song's about, man.
Man, that's awesome. So it's kind of like staying humble and just showing humility, because it's so hard not to focus on all those things that we want and don't have. So I could see why people would choose this track even specifically to just listen very often, or I guess in the morning, like some people have reached out to you for.
Yeah,
That's crazy,
and the
man.
thing too is, bro, like in life, once you achieve something for yourself, a lot of people kind of overlook that and they're like, okay, I got this, but I still want this that's better than what I had or what I got,
For sure, for
and we
sure.
don't stop and smell the roses, so to speak, to be like, you know what, like for example, I reached 1,000 followers on Facebook or something, and to a lot of people, like that's nothing, right?
Yeah,
But for a person who actually started from the bottom with like zero followers,
yeah.
reaching 1,000 or 100 is still something to celebrate, something to feel
That's
happy about.
monumental, man. I feel you on that. That's wild. And then going back to another theme I picked out of that track, and it's actually throughout your entire EP here, but it's about loyalty, man. And I know it definitely stems back to you're still having some of your same crew from 15 years ago. But do you want to talk a little bit more about loyalty, because that's a huge, huge thing, man.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even realize that till you
Really?
pointed it out, bro. Yeah, because I just write what I feel like, right,
Yeah,
and
it just
and
comes
whatever speaks to
automatic.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's elaborate on kind of like what loyalty, I guess, means to you, or like maybe like moments of disloyalty that you've experienced, or like counter to the point you're trying to
yeah.
make.
It's so for me, loyalty is just like if you're a real friend, you're not gonna turn your back or you're not gonna backstab anybody that you deem as a friend, right?
For sure.
And growing up, I had a lot of issues with so-called friends. Because when I was younger, I had huge circles of people that I would meet one day and hang out the next. So
Yeah.
my circle was actually pretty big, and every week I was hanging out with more and more people. And to me personally, I always thought they were friends, right? I didn't really understand the difference between like acquaintances and friends at that age,
Yeah.
and that's when I learned the hard lesson where there's certain people out there that act or say that they're your friend, but the moment they could take advantage of you or take advantage of a situation around you, they would, and that
Just
could be for anything. That could be money, that could be them talking behind your back, that could be like females, all this stuff, man. So
I
I
feel
went
you,
through that,
man.
and now my circle is really small, but I'm happy, because the people I got around me are they're like 100.
Yeah, they're trustworthy. They're
Yeah,
likely to never stab you in the back.
yeah, and what to me what's important too is the moment that you're not there, they're still gonna be the one speaking up for you, or they got your back covered. So
That's a
that to me,
real
yeah,
one, man. That's for sure.
and then to me, like a lot of things when it comes to loyalty is important. That's why I don't know if I said in one of those songs, but like my currency is loyalty. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yeah.
more in the sense of like what do most people hold important? Money, right?
Yes.
So a lot of people would do things for money. A lot of people would not do things for money. So
Yeah.
for me, it's money is not the
It's
main thing for me.
it's like
It's
secondary,
people.
if
Yeah,
even.
yeah. So it's the people around me, and the way I see loyalty in people is like that to me is the most important, and not how much money you got and all that, because a lot of people, they base friendships and they base connections on power, status, wealth. But for me, it's not that, man. It's if these people are real with you and if you're real with them.
Man, I'm happy you were able to articulate it like that because it's a really classic tale that I've never heard about from that perspective. Like loyalty as a currency, that's brilliant, man. Because you always hear about the classic stories about people who are famous now who were never supported when they were younger by their family or friends or pre-fame. You
Hmm.
know,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
like it's kind of like a classic hero's tale. That's wild, man. I love that though. Loyalty as a currency. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Of course, and then onto your track, "Remember." That you threw in a lot of humor into this track. Sorry if this is a little bit old for referencing, man. I know it
Yeah,
was last year, right?
no, it's all good, yo. Because to be honest, I when I put out that project, I didn't even listen to it for the longest time. 'Cause,
Really?
yeah,
You
because
worked on it and crushed through it in a month, and then just
yeah, it's just when you spend so long doing something that after it's finally done, you celebrate. But yeah, I've been listening to it over 100 times. I'm kind of done.
that's
I'm kind of done
hilarious.
with listening back to it,
I
yo.
feel you, man. It's already kind of embedded into your brain as much as it can be.
Yeah. So when people ask me about it or reference it, it's like it's still fresh to me.
I
You know what I'm
feel
saying?
you. Yeah, I do. I do. It's like it's part of how you operate, more or less. And this is a good way to
Hmm.
operate, man. I want to make it part of how I operate.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah, onto that track. Remember, you input a lot of kind of humor, I guess, in your lines in this track,
Hmm.
and a little bit of explicit content. But I found it
Yeah.
amazing in the delivery, just because it was like kind of genuine. You bring up how like success is the tip of the iceberg, and I just want to kind of elaborate maybe on some of the sacrifices that you had to make in terms of achieving the success.
Yeah, man. Do you mind if I just talk about the concept of that first
Oh,
before we talk
please,
about
yes.
success?
Let's do
Because
it. Let's do it.
kind of helps. Yeah. So basically, when the story behind that song was at that point, like our group Southeast Cartel (SEC), we just released our album called Black Sheep,
Okay.
and it took us about a year to finalize that. Record, mix, master, marketing, all that stuff. So for about a whole year, we did not go out on the weekends. We were all in the studio. So we
Yeah.
have Monday through Friday full-time jobs. Saturday was straight music, no stopping. So we
I
weren't,
feel you.
we didn't go to parties. And not just like parties, but like fam jams, birthdays, all that stuff. We didn't go because we were so into finishing the project.
Yeah.
So once we were done, excuse me, and we released all the music videos, it started popping off really, really big in our community. So we decided as a group, you know what? We put in a lot of work. Let's take like maybe 2 or 3 months break from music,
All right.
where the weekends, we could spend with family, we could spend with friends, all that stuff. So we started going out more and going to parties, going to gatherings, and turns out we had a lot of supporters and fans. And during these parties, man, like we kind of noticed we get treated differently.
That's dope,
Um,
man.
so we're treated like local celebrities, so to speak.
Yeah.
People wanted pictures, all that stuff. Yeah, like I went to a friend's what's it called, computer shop, and he was fixing what's it called, a computer for like one of his clients, and
Yeah.
and they brought their friends, the girlfriends or whatever. And those two girls ended up recognizing me, and they
No
wanted
way.
pictures, and I ended up signing their phones while their boyfriends were watching. So I'm like,
Damn.
trying to be respectful, right?
What?
So it's like stuff like this that's like happening on occasion
How
ever
do you
since the
figure
album
that
dropped.
those ladies heard about you? Like, what was the direct?
Oh, I don't know. Like, so I came in because I was actually gonna teach a buddy of mine some audio engineering stuff,
Yeah.
and my friend who owns the computer repair shop, after hours he lets us use it, right? So
That's
we'd
dope.
be able to stay there till like 3 or 4 in the morning, and teach a couple of people how to mix
That's
music.
so
So that's what
cool, man.
I would do.
Did you operate it as
Yeah,
a
'cause I'm-
business
yeah.
or?
No, actually, at that point, it was just trying to teach because I wanted the community here to reach the next level,
Yeah,
right?
dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I figured money's gonna come later on,
Yes.
but for now,
Oh,
let
and
me
it
be
will.
like genuine, and do something for
I
the
love
people.
that. I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, I came early, and those people were still there, and they kept staring at me, right? So it seems a little weird because you don't know if they're mad dogging you or
Yeah.
if they know you, right? So
Yeah, what's
I
going
try
on
not to. Yeah, I try not to assume that they recognize me as an artist, just because if they end up mad dogging me, like it's not a good look.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, and they kept staring, and then after a while, I think my friend went to talk to them, and then he came back and he was like, "Yo, those girls know you." They're like, "Yes, like they saw you perform at like some big event last
No
time."
way.
And yeah, and he's like, and they're asking if they could take a picture with
That's
you. Like,
crazy,
dang, I'm like,
man. And so,
Yeah.
did you know before that moment how memorable your performance was, or were you aware of that?
No, the way we perform, bro, it's always like we're gonna go 100%
Yeah.
regardless. If there's 10 people, 100 people, or 1,000 people.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many people were watching us. But the moment we step off the stage, we just want to make sure that we know that we gave it our all. You know, like we didn't half-ass it or anything
I
like
feel
that.
you. So you're already kind of living in that kind of ruminants of that it's already happening before it was validated by people actually approaching you.
Yeah, and the cool thing about our team, Southeast Cartel, is like we're always bigging each other up. We're always believing in one another.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter if other people catch on to us. It's sort of like the whole team is already like motivating one another, you know? So we
Yes.
didn't really see the aspect of like success or our music reaching out
Yeah.
there. So, but like going back to the whole vacation thing where we took 3 months off and you know, there's a lot more scenarios like that happened throughout those 3 months.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that kind of hit me was I was kind of scared of letting fame and all the celebrity status get to me. Because like even though you know that's what's happening, it's hard not to let it affect your mind
I
state,
feel
right?
you, yeah.
And like your pride and your
Yeah.
ego. And yeah, man, there's I don't want to go too much into detail, but like there's a lot of situations where like my ego and all that could have gotten really, really big.
Yeah. That's
And
dope, man.
and for me, like I had a lot. I've been doing this for a while that I realized that you can't let that happen to you. You can't let pride and ego be the main factors in how you make music or how you
Yeah.
move. And because that I was kind of scared of that. That's what that song "Remember" was. It's like even though back in the days, like people didn't really believe, they didn't support, and now look, everybody's supporting. Like I'm not gonna let this whole celebrity status or whatever fame change me. Like I'm gonna still remember where I came from, the people that helped me, and in doing so, I'm gonna stay the same. Just doing my
That's
my
legit,
thing.
man. That's amazing. So do you think that if like you hit that level of success at some point within your first 5 years or first 10 years, that your ego might have not been there, like ready, like you might not have been in this same mentality, and you might have sabotaged yourself somewhere along the way?
To be honest, I kind of like the fact that it did come now, you know, or as of
Yeah.
late, because if being younger, bro, being in high school, being a kid, you know, and even in my early 20s, if those things hit me then, I don't think I'd be the same person because I wasn't prepared mentally, and I didn't go through enough of life to kind of understand or see what's really important when it comes to situations
That's
like that.
amazing, man. And do you feel prepared?
Right now it's you can never, to me, you can't be totally prepared because you don't know what things are until they
That's the
happen, right?
truth.
So you know the only thing that you can do is try to keep a level head and understand like your roots. So if something happens where things escalate, at least I'm comfortable in the fact knowing that I'm somewhat prepared for it.
That's what's real, man. I love that. And I love how you shouted out your homies and supporting you, because that actually segues us into your next track here, Hungry, in brackets, Kutom.
Yeah.
And that has to be, that's like the theme of that. That's like you and your boys literally fucking just wanting it.
You hit that right on the point,
Maybe I
man.
shouldn't say your boys. I'm sure
Yeah.
your team is a diverse group of individuals, but that track, man, it's strong. And like I said, the use of 2 languages, it doesn't take away from like the execution.
Yeah, and that's actually when I created that song. I didn't even think of like "hungry," the English word. I already thought of like "gutom," like the Tagalog word, and that's where I centered
That's dope.
the whole thing around. Yeah, and that's why I've like you'll see me switch between "hungry" and "gutom" on certain
Yeah,
lines, so that people, even if you don't read the title but you heard the song, you kind of understand what "gutom"
I
means.
see what you're saying.
You know?
Yes, I do get it. And then your last track there on that EP, "Do It For." Who we doing it for, man?
Bro, it's doing it for the fans, doing it for the fam. And actually, there's a story behind that too, because there's a lot of people I meet online, right? So because social media is so big, people end up finding out about you through Instagram, Facebook, and all
Yeah.
that. And there's a lot of big Filipino artists back home, and it turns out like they don't really show their appreciation to their fans. So when people would message me or at me on Instagram or whatever, I would react. I would show some
Yeah,
love.
you give them a
And
response.
they're always surprised. Yeah, and they're surprised because
Really?
most of the time they don't really get that experience from these artists, mind you, they're like way bigger than me,
Yeah.
right? Like they got millions and millions of views. But I'm a person with like thousands of views, yet I'm still responding back to them. So my whole point on that was like, let me make a song where I'm actually gonna shout out the people that makes this whole music career possible, right? Like of course you have your team, you have the people pushing you, but the bread and butter or like the life of a career in music is the people that support you as listeners, right?
I agree,
So
man.
that was the whole aspect, man. And it's like, let me give you guys a song, and even on the second verse, those are real names, bro. From fans.
Dude, I don't doubt it. It was an entire verse. I thought it was bomb.
Yeah, and the crazy thing was, there's so much more. There's so much more
I
names. Bro.
don't
just
doubt it,
couldn't fit
dude. Yo, how did you go through in deciding, like, did you, like, I don't want to say it this way because you might piss some people off, but did you, like, rank people, or did you kind of just, like, cut and paste, or just you pick random?
No, like, just to be fair, even though I know I wasn't gonna tell people, but to be fair, I just picked like the top, like whoever gave me their names in order, because I put out a post saying like, I'm gonna do a song, and I want to shout out, the supporters. So just put your name down on the comments or whatever, and then I'll use it. So yeah, I think it was like, initially I had, in the first hour I had like 10 to 15, and I was like, okay, good,
I can do that.
and then the flow doesn't have to be so complex. And then about an hour later, it like doubled in size. And then I was trying to like puzzle piece the names here and there, just trying to fit as much as possible, to the point where I'm just like, okay, I can't. If I put any more, it's not gonna be a 3-minute song, man. We're gonna reach like 6 to 8 minutes. So
that's the director's cut version.
Yeah. So. But you know what? That was pretty fun, because I've never taken people's names and build a whole verse around it. I've done a couple of lines where I've used people's names, but the majority of that was like, literally, it was names straight through the board, and making them rhyme was like a very enjoyable challenge.
Yeah, dude, I thought it was really cool. First of all, because it's not something I've heard done before. Second of all, because it's your sign off of this EP. You pretty much, like, you do the credits in a track of like people who had your back and kind of inspired you through this. I think is amazing. Exactly. And on that, did you actually, no, sorry, I want to bring up one line from this track. You say, I don't do it for the grants.
Oh, yeah. It's just so I guess so bro, let me ask first, where are you from exactly?
We're based out of Calgary,
province.
Alberta. Yeah.
Bro, so do you know some of my homies, what's it called, Twizzy?
I do know of Twizzy, yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool. Sorry.
I just know of him. He doesn't know me, or I don't know if he does. Yeah.
Okay. So you already know what, like, in Canada, there's grants where they where the government offers you grants.
Yeah, for sure. I wanna elaborate it on for people who don't know about it, though, as if we're kind of explaining it, like teaching people.
Yeah. So let me see if I word this right, but the government has a certain amount of I guess, let's just say cash that they've allocated towards the arts every year, and in order for you to get a piece of that amount, you need to apply for what's known as a grant, where the government will give you a certain amount of money, but you have to kind of fulfill certain criterias that.
What are the criteria?
And so the most general would be how long you've been doing music for.
Okay.
Right. So they usually base that off like your releases, so they can see when you've started releasing music, because they really want to take only the people that are very serious.
Interesting.
With it. So if you've been making music for a year and they realize that you have, most likely you'll be at the bottom of their list.
Interesting.
Right. They're looking for people that's been putting in a lot of work and that stay consistent, because they look at it, I guess, from a business point of view too. They want to make sure the money that they spend.
Yeah, I see it. That the funds, the money that. Yeah. Okay, I got it. You explain it.
So that's in the first, I would say, the most basic requirement, and then there's other requirements where, like, you need to have certain numbers and certain stats on your social media. I think that's something new they introduced in the past couple of years, because before it wasn't part of it, right? So now, like, for, let's say, Instagram, they need you to have at least like 10,000 followers.
Okay, that's a big departure from what I originally was thinking.
Yeah, it really depends on the grants. I mean, the bigger amounts, they're obviously going to be expecting a lot more.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. They want to know that their funds are going to reach like a certain amount of audience, as well as be put to proper use. So that makes total sense.
And to me, it's fair too, because if you're really serious with the music as a career, then these are things that you should be checking off your list, right?
10,000 is a huge number in my opinion. I don't think anybody.
It is.
Right? Yeah. Unless I've never seen people, or it's very rare that I see people with over 10,000 and the blue check mark.
Yeah, you know what? We've kind of figured out how to do it on Facebook, because they had different requirements. So on Facebook, we were able to do like 25,000.
Okay.
And I think we filled out the Facebook number. But Instagram, it's different platforms have different ways of marketing, and they have different algorithms.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know a couple of artists where it's usually one or the other. So I know a couple of artists that they'll have like 20,000, 40,000 followers on Instagram, but then the rest of their social media is like YouTube or Facebook is really low.
Yeah.
and or they'll have something big on YouTube, but be not equivalent to the rest of their social medias. So it's kind of hard because a lot of these grants they expect numbers from all of these main platforms. So it's very hard to get.
Interesting. So, what's your experience with grants? If you don't mind talking too much about it.
Yeah, there's a couple that we're planning to sign on, and it's just really hard because there's specific dates that you have to do it in, like
Deadlines.
certain months.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to hand it in on the month of so and so for you to get to be even not get, but to be part of that list that they're gonna go over
I
and
see.
decide.
That's good information, man.
Yeah, and so we've been trying to focus on that, but again, all the other requirements and criteria is still very hard to be on top of that list because they'll only pick like a handful versus like 50, right? So you
Yeah.
really have to, and you can't just hit bare minimum. Like you really have to have some of the top numbers to get those.
I feel that.
yeah.
That's
So
crazy.
when it comes to the lyrics, like I don't do this for the grants. Like if I'm putting out music and people are following me, like I'm putting out content because I want people to digest the content and to relate to it and to like it. I'm not really creating a lot of material to reach numbers to get these grants. That's basically what that line is about.
That's brilliant, man. But also, in a sense, you're doing it. You're doing it, but not for the purpose of doing it, and that's actually what's gonna potentially bring it to you.
Yeah, and it's I was think of it this way that in order for you to reach certain things, you can't spend all your time trying to focus on that. It's all these small things are going to bring you to that certain milestone, you know.
That's the
So
truth, man.
if I was sitting here and I was like, okay, I need 10,000 followers on Facebook, and that's my focus, then that's the only thing I'm gonna work towards. But in reality, it's all these other steps that's gonna bring me to that goal, right?
That's
So
brilliant, man. Yeah,
that's how I think of it.
you can't be single-minded and you can't be single-focused. There's a lot of different different elements that go into probably every single thing that we do.
Yeah, and the thing too with being a musician or an artist nowadays, it's like you got to wear a lot of different hats.
That's
You can't
true.
just be a rapper, singer, whatever. You just can't be a producer. You literally got to be your own company. You have to run everything yourself in the beginning, right?
I agree.
So that's a big thing. Big thing I try to live by and understand that
Yeah.
in order for you to succeed, like you said, there's a lot of things you need to be able to do.
And that's the truth. What you said there, man, is it's something that you kind of have to learn to live by because, and you kind of gain more of an understanding the more you talk about it and the more you live through it. But it's definitely a kind of like a wavering. There's strong points and then there's weak points. You know, yeah, you have your good days where you're killing it, and then your bad days where you're not so much. You know what I mean? Let's go into your next track there, Story of My Life. Or it's not your next track, but it's coming to this year,
It is a
2020.
single,
Yeah, your next single. Probably the last one we'll actually talk about since we're hitting overtime here. But
Yeah.
Story of My Life, man. This was I think the first track of yours that I heard, and it was like you're speaking directly to me. I know a lot of your music I've kind of like conferred that
Word.
idea, yeah. But let's talk about it, man. You're one of the points that you made, or you actually almost kind of go through a timeline of your life a little bit. Very brisk at some points, but let's talk about one point you brought up is that failing your parents' high hopes of being an engineer or lawyer. I don't know if that's exactly verbatim what's happened, but
No, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah,
That's
bro.
it.
So, being from a culture where parents always just, expect a certain type of career or expect a certain kind of job for you.
Yeah.
And growing up, it's how they pushed me towards trying to be certain how do you say this, like to be part of a certain career, right?
Yeah.
Like lawyer, doctor, nurse.
yeah.
And the thing is, like, when I was in school, I wasn't good at all the subjects that kind of lead towards those professions.
Okay.
But I was more towards like creative writing or like things where my creativity I ended up using more of my creativity
Yeah.
than like formulas or stuff like that.
So you grew
And,
up with this pretty much cognitive dissonance of being told you should be better at these other things while you're easily doing the things that you're told not to focus on.
Yeah, like I would be doing amazing in like my English classes, and then my parents would be like, "Oh, how come your math is only like 75 or something?" Like,
Yeah.
like I'm not that strong in math, but in reality, it was like I didn't want to spend time to do those. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
like when you're interested in something, that's where your time goes, and everything else to me it was like, let me just make sure my marks are good, so my parents aren't gonna complain.
Yeah.
But let me focus on the things that I really want to do. And
It's weird, yeah. You kind of I don't know the right word for this, but you organize your time in a way that you can get away with the minimum in the things that you don't enjoy, and then you know what I'm saying. Invest most of your time or your love into the things that you do enjoy, but still like while mediating that minimal attention, you need to focus on the other shit.
Yeah, bro, and with that whole song, that's actually a single off of an album I'm currently working on.
That's amazing, dude. When's the drop?
You know, and I don't have a specific date because it's still in the process, but I'm trying to do it by the end of the year. But we'll see, bro. I don't want to rush it too much.
For sure, man.
And I want it so that it's smooth, you know, like it doesn't feel forced. And if there's certain songs that I want to redo or go over, like I'm doing that right now. So
brilliant, man, brilliant.
But actually, it's I like the fact that you brought up Story of My Life on a music standpoint too, because I don't know if you can hear a difference between that style of production over what I had on Young Dreams. Like Young Dreams was very like trap oriented.
Yeah.
Very, very hype. And so
Story
this
of My
whole
Life's
album,
more emotional.
Yeah, and my mindset when coming into this album was a very different direction than the EP. Because like I said earlier, the EP was something that is very hype, that's supposed to get people inspired and motivated to just get them along their day, you know?
Yeah.
But for this whole album, I kind of wanted to bring something more personal and touch base with a lot of topics that is not technically conventional rap topics, you know.
Interesting.
Which is like Story of My Life, and going over just the lyrics on that and what I'm talking about. It's like you don't normally hear a lot of rappers make songs like that.
No, nobody really brings their previous failures to light amidst their good days.
And exactly, and the thing with failing, and the thing with going through times in your life where you're down, like I wanted to show that to people, because most of the time you see in a lot of music and rap music is just the good stuff, right? Or they finally reached the peak, or they reached a place in their life where they're celebrating. But as you already know, in our lives, not everything is good, not everything is like sunshine and rainbows. We're all going to be going through things where it's going to be it's tough, it's going to be a struggle, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch on, and then the rest of the album kind of does the same thing too, but touches on things where it's like admitting failures, admitting mistakes, admitting things where in the point of your life things weren't going that well. But if you notice with most of, from Story of My Life, but with the rest of the songs too, it's like at the end there's always like I don't leave you feeling like down or feeling negative, right? Because if you reach the end of that song or each end of those verses, it's always like, no, there's people that were supporting me.
Yeah.
Even though I was going through a tough time, there's people that were there for me, and if not, then there's things I remember about the love I have for my family, the love I have
for sure
for my group mates.
Yeah.
You know, and even though I'm touching on these subjects, I still want to use it to kind of relate to people and show them, you know, if you're going through personal issues, there's still light at the end of the tunnel.
That's fucking dope, man. I love that. And in that track itself, you were talking about the production a little bit. Is that guitar sequence, was that done live? Did you do that?
Oh yeah, bro. So
you play the guitar?
It's not me. It's not me.
It's not you. Okay.
Yeah. So I used to produce beats back in the days, but
yeah.
I ended up focusing on audio engineering instead.
Yeah.
Right, because it took up a lot of my time. So
for sure.
For that beat, I actually have a homie in Philippines that we connected online, and he created like the melody, the bass line, all that stuff.
Oh, no way.
And then I had another homie here who's starting up producer do the drums for me, because he actually played drums in his church before when he was a kid. So initially, that's not the original beat. The original beat was more trap like very mellow trap.
I see.
So like the drum lines and all that stuff was very laid back, but the energy I wanted to create in that, it's a storytelling kind of song where I'm not going to throw in a lot of different flows, because I want to be able to get people to hear exactly what I'm saying. So I thought, if I'm going to be telling a story and I'm not switching through different styles, what's another way that I can convey energy or like convey the journey, right? So I was like, well, through the drums, because the way that if you listen to how the drums are set up there, certain parts it's mellow, certain part it comes in really, really hard, and other parts it's not even there completely, and that kind of helps me partner my lyrics and my delivery to the song, so that the energy is on point on every aspect of the production.
Man, that's awesome. I love the complexity behind it. I definitely didn't notice that level of complexity in my couple listens, but I'm gonna look for it for sure on the next one.
Bro. And I was just lucky because I'm also an engineer, audio engineer for different artists here.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a couple of bands, and so I was able to build a relationship with like guitarists,
That's
singers,
sweet.
drummers, all that. And I reached out to one of these guitarists from a group here named Uppercase, and I really respected the way this guy did solos because it just emotion that you can feel.
Yeah.
And you know, and even though I'm into hip hop, I still listen to a lot of different genres. And the one thing I loved about rock music was like the emotion you get from the instrumentation, because in a lot of hip hop beats, you don't normally get that. It's a lot of repetition, right?
Because they're programmed, yeah.
Yeah, so my goal was to, like, for this whole album actually, is to create a different sound where I'm able to blend sounds I like from different genres but still have it all sounding like a hip hop record.
That's awesome, man. And we are going into overtime, so I just wanted to drop one question in that, just relating to what we were just talking about. What, as from an audio engineer's perspective, the difference between working with live instrumentation and programmed instrumentation.
Yeah,
Can you give me a little insight into that?
with things that are programmed, usually those are pre-recorded already by a company or by someone else, and they'll usually record it at the highest quality, so they have the best audio interfaces, the best mics, the best audio analog to digital conversions, and they clean it. So when you get it pre-programmed, it's sounding very, very polished already. But when you record live instrumentation, you're recording it raw. So being an audio engineer, you have to really select the right equipment. Let's say you're recording drums, right? There's a lot of microphones that come along to recording such a big instrument. So me recording it during the first times, I was like, oh, I just need whatever mics. But in reality, there's specific mics used for specific sounds, and then there's the standard of the quality you get from each mic. So being able to working with pre-programmed stuff, you don't need as much experience in the recording process and the mixing process because it's already done for you. But on the live end, there's definitely a lot more work that you have to put in. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like when I started working with bands, bro, like the level of my ears in terms of as an audio engineer and my knowledge when it comes to recording instruments just expanded because I was learning as I went, and I was studying other engineers too. So I'm just really, really glad I was able to do both.
That's awesome, man. And so would you say you'd prefer the ease of working with the program stuff or the emotion and the genuineness that comes with the live stuff?
With the live stuff, I would love to work only with the live, but the thing is, if it's only with the live, then you need people that can play those instruments. Right?
For sure. And a lot more time and effort goes into it. So I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Whereas pre-programmed, like one person can do everything, you know? But for me right now, what I really like is being able to take the best of both worlds and put it together. And you can hear that in the story of my life where, a couple of those things were programmed and there's a couple of things that were live. But it's hard to tell the difference, but everything sounds good. So I'm trying to do something like that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's beautiful, dude. And so we did go over our time here. So I just wanted to give you a little moment at the end of this interview to just kind of to sign off or say whatever it is you want to say to the audience, whoever's listening out there. Go for it, man. It's all you.
First and foremost, bro, I just want to thank you and ReEvolve Media, man, for giving me this opportunity and platform. Because this has been a great experience for me, and I just want to wish you all the success when it comes to launching everything that you have set up. And on top of that, just to end it off, I just want to give a shout out.
And I appreciate the efforts you've put into it.
Okay. No worries, yo. And so I just want to give a quick shout out to my family, my girl, all the other artists that are out there putting in work, trying to reach their dreams, trying to attain their goals, and Filipino Canadian hip hop music scene, man. Because without all of these people, I don't know where I'd be right now.
That's amazing, man. Thank you so much, Raygee, for joining me again, and thank you for all the beautiful shout outs, bro. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day and doing this with us.
No problem, bro. Thank you as well.
All right, take care, homie.
And that was Raygee, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode. If you want to learn more about Raygee, your best bet is to go to www.reevolvemedia.com/Raygee. That's RAYGEE. And we're going to listen to his track, Remember.
Since I was a kid, they said I'd never amount to nothing.
Hard work's in my blood, yeah, I was always up to something. Dreams up on my back, I guess I wasn't much for frontin', no. Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Now I remember all the days that I was going broke. I remember all the ways that I was slowing dope. I remember all these girls used to tell me no. Now all of these girls be sit down to blow.
On their hands and their knees, begging me please to give them the D.
Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Look at me now, y'all, look at me.
Pause. Flashback to the skinny bony geek up in math class, writing 16s while listening to Pox tracks. All the G's laugh, kept saying I was mad whack. And all of these chicks compared me to pieces of shit. My, how the tables have flipped. Cause now they be jamming to all of our hits. Whoa. Snap back to reality, honestly, I'm just chillin', fulfilling my wants, fantasies. I see a lot of hating, complaining cause they can handle me. I'm slowly losing sanity, just fighting back my vanity. They said hard work pays off. I still be working hard regardless if we take off. In the kitchen, wrist flicking on the steak sauce, getting that cake, proper body like a bake-off.
No lie.
Hard to stay humble up in parties filled with mad booze.
No lie.
Hard to stay humble when girls tryna fuck you in the bathroom.
No lie.
But through it all, I persevere. Every time I feel like I lost myself, then I think about all the shit that brought me here, and it all becomes clear.
Since I was a kid, they said I'd never amount to nothing. Hard work's in my blood, yeah, I was always up to something. Dreams up on my back, I guess I wasn't much for frontin', no. Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Now I remember all the days that I was going broke. I remember all the ways that I was slowing dope. I remember all these girls used to tell me no. Now all of these girls be sit down to blow.
On their hands and their knees, begging me please to give them the D.
Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Look at me now, y'all, look at me.
So many wanna be up in my chucks, touching these tracks like a Midas. Call me rap Simba, I'm a lion. Legacy lasting like the Mayans. Burning unbelievers like clockwork. Reach the rooftop from the groundwork. Got people spitting lines straight from my verse, but the fame is just a tip of the iceberg. Cause tell me what the fuck would you know by putting mad hours in a room with no AC? Spend dough on your goals, yeah, word on your soul. All you feeling is a hunger on the daily. Homies turn up, getting faded. Parties every week, getting lit every night. Where you was in the booth just recording and mixing. Vocals with the beat, then repeat with the grind. That's facts. Simply stating how it is. True. Sacrifice a lot when it comes to this. True. Left a lot in the dust through assaults and barrages. We marching on up, that's a wrap. For me and my fam, I'm hella competitive. Yeah, I'm competitive. I rose from the tenement, work over talent. The octagon's optimal specimen, man.
Since I was a kid, they said I'd never amount to nothing. Hard work's in my blood, yeah, I was always up to something. Dreams up on my back, I guess I wasn't much for frontin', no. Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Now I remember all the days that I was going broke. I remember all the ways that I was slowing dope. I remember all these girls used to tell me no. Now all of these girls be sit down to blow.
On their hands and their knees, begging me please to give them the D.
Look at me now, y'all, look at me. Look at me now, y'all, look at me.